It was unthinkable, even just a few weeks ago. But the Taliban are now the gatekeepers of Kabul. Fighters now stand where government soldiers and police did only days ago. More than a few are happy to talk and smile for the cameras, but others are not.
چند سال جهاد کردی؟
از ما تقریبا از خود ما شخصا 11-12 سال میشه که جهاد میکنیم.
واو، شما چند سال جهاد کردین؟
6 سال.
6 سال.
احساس خوشی میکنیم که ما به خاطر یک دولت و نظام اسلامی جهاد کرده بودیم، فعلا برحال شد، پیروز شدیم، کامیاب شدیم.
While the Taliban maintains security, Kabul's controversial blast walls are coming down.
ټول قفس جوړ شوی و. یو سړی په یو لاره تېرېدی نه سو. موږ به چې کله موټر دلته راوسته د شورولي موټر به م تر دزې پورې راوسته، 11 ځایه به تلاشي سو موږ ته به دلته راورسېد. هغسې په سیند په غاړه هغسې د ورځې بېرته به راغی، 11 ځایو کې به دلته موږ راورسېد. موږ اوس الحمدلله په 3 دقیقو کې د غزې نه تر دغسې راغلي.
These concrete blocks used to protect Kabul's elite and government employees like Mohammed Hamid from the very men who are now his allies.
سرمون مشکل نداره رسول خپل وظیفې ته راتللی شي. خو البته څه مشکلات مخامخ یې د حکومت اولې شپې دي، اولې ورځې دي، څه به ډېر نه برابر، خو نور هم به ډېر برابر شي، الحمدلله ژر به برابر شي.
I feel very conflicted about how I report on the Taliban because all of my beloved Afghan friends have either fled the country or are desperate to flee the country because they fear for their rights, and many of them also fear for their lives. And, you know, this is a terror organization.
A mass exodus has blocked all the gates to the airport. Afghans in their thousands are just unwilling to give the Taliban a second chance. But not everyone's trying to flee. Most Afghans, like taxi driver Abdul, have no choice but to navigate this reality.
چی میشه فکر میکنی؟
خرابی میشه، خوبی نمیشه.
چی رقم خرابی؟
دست پاکستان است.
Afghanistan's neighbor Pakistan not only helps fund the Taliban, but has sheltered them for decades. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan said the Taliban takeover had broken the shackles of slavery.
अफगानिस्तान में गुलामी की जंजीरें तो तोड़ दी उन्होंने.
Abdul takes us to one of the city's UN compounds.
It used to be guarded by UN security guards, but now it's guarded by the Taliban, obviously. Let's see what they say. Salam alaikum. Chatur hasti?
After some nervousness and a little negotiation, the fighters take us inside. This compound used to house the International Organization for Migration, which up until 2 weeks ago was organizing flights for some of the interpreters who had worked with our troops. But those offices are now empty, and this man is in charge.
Salam, salam. Oh, daqiqan Joe Biden hasta.
With pleasantries over, the commander explains why he joined the Taliban more than 10 years ago.
چې ظلمونه ول هر چیرته په بندیخانو کې عام وطن کې ظلم او وحشت او خلکو سره ډیر زیاتای کېده او څو نفرو د په خاطر باندې ټول وطن کې عام مسلمانانو باندې ظلمونه روان او لغوي غلط استعمالېدل.
They offer us tea, water and a glimpse of their distaste for light entertainment.
ګورو هغه کوم شی جایز دی هغه ولې نه ګورو؟ خبرونه مثال نور داسې
خو فلم نه دی کتلی.
څه غلط فلمونه خو نه ګورځي.
نه نه غلط نه، دغه فلم لکه عادي فلمونه چې په ټول دنیا کې دي، سمپل فلم دغه نه.
نه هغه شیان بعضې شیان نه ګورو، هغه شیان نه ګورو چې عباس وخت نه لګو که نه، ځکه موږ د عباس لپاره نه وي پیدا.
And this message for the thousands of Afghans trying to flee their homeland.
دوی ته پیغام دا لرو چې دوی دا بدبختۍ سره ځان مخامخ کړی، دلته خو الحمدلله اوس نظام برابر سو، ظلم او وحشت ختم سو. دوی ولې ځي له خپل وطن؟ دوی ته خو موږ عفو اعلان کړی.
But what about the rights of Afghanistan's 19 million women?
نو اسلام خو زنانو ته حق ورکړی دی چې مکتب دې مو وایي، پوهنتون دې مو وایي، طب دې مو وایي، مثلا په یو ځای کې د کار هم وکړي، خو په اسلامي او شرعي حجاب کې پرده کې.
Ultimately, it seems men will decide the future for women.
Most of people became very optimistic today, and they said no, they changed. But what happened today with me and to me, I got to know that they are not changed.
Activist and writer Crystal Bayat was one of the women who led the Independence Day march through Kabul last week. Long live Afghanistan, they cried. But some Taliban reacted with violence.
Since last 19 years, I'm studying and I'm striving to achieve my goals. But today, unfortunately, all my dreams died.
In the face of widespread doubt, the Taliban is doing its best to reassure the rest of the world that it has nothing to fear.
چې نور دغه کوم هغه چې امن راغلی دغه ټول افغانان په دې خوشحاله دي هر سړي د آرام ساه واخیستله د هر سړي هغه رواني ناروغي چې ورته پیدا شوله هغه اوس انشاءالله په ختمېدو شوله نو زه داسې وایم چې بس خلک دې موږ پرېږدي چې موږ هم لږ د آرام ساه واخلو
چې په نظامي شکل خو موږ څوک نه منو نور خو هر چا سره رابطې برابرې ده خو دا دې راغلی دي تا سره څوک څه مشکل لري
I think given everything that's happened over the last few weeks, it's worth, when you watch something like that, just stepping back for a moment and remembering why it was that the West, Australia included, with America, went into Afghanistan 20 years ago. We're approaching the 9/11 anniversary within the next week or so. It was to remove the Taliban from power, to prevent Afghanistan from being used as a base by international terrorist organisations, and to install some kind of stable democracy. Now think about what's just happened in the last 24 hours alone. The democracy's gone, the Taliban is in charge, and an international terrorist organisation is conducting large-scale attacks on the one bit of Kabul which is still sort of controlled by international forces. I think Joe Biden will never live this down. This is an enormous foreign policy failure at this point.
Yep.
I think this is very difficult for him to justify. All of the warnings were there, perhaps not around the timing, but certainly around the possibility of this happening. And now the people that you've just met in Jordan's report are left to deal with the consequences. The people that have visas to get out, to come to places like Australia, like the UK, like America, probably left with very little, very slim hope at the moment of getting out.
So I suppose we just have to wait and see what that vowing revenge that we saw from Joe Biden actually means now.
In the context of his promise to end wars, you know, that his reason for getting out is to end American involvement there. And now you've got this new promise of retribution.